is real, working in spirit. You can see him and hear him in this world every day. Satan is real, working with power. He can tempt you and lead you astray.
I know some of you have been wondering what I've been up to and what I've been fucking doing. Well, I've been pretty goddamn busy. I haven't been spending a lot of money.
Somewhere between 700 billion and $1.3 trillion.
But don't worry, I got some quality content, and we're gonna get to it right about now.
I'm still in a state of shock right now. In fact, I don't think I'm gonna be coming down for a long period of time. Yeah.
That's where that horror ended up. But it's being replaced. Ding! Nothing?
To ensure I never mess up my rice again.
Damn, she's a hard starter, boys. What the fuck? That battery dead. No. Oh, fuck yeah, it's alive. Let me get the gun. Just leave her running. It's got gas in it, right? It ain't got no gas in it. I wonder how long that half tank's been in there. Oh shit, this is Batman's car? Get fucked. Fucking A right. What a sweetheart. What a fucking sweetheart you picked up there, bud.
Right? Moving on to the access port we got here. This serves as a vape directory. Tells me all the VG and PG I have in my vape juice and tells me the horsepower output of that specific vape. What a little sweetheart.
It's making vacuum. 165 clicks on it, huh? That ain't bad. 165 clicks on it?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Supposedly overheats at idle.
Alright, so let's not idle it for too long. Step one, you want to go rooting around in someone else's car. Oh yeah. Look at this. This car's eco-friendly.
How dare you?
I got most of the leaves out of her. What'd you find, Ty? Oh my god. Go put that in my truck. I could use some more horsepower. You going back to the shop?
Should I give it a run around the neighborhood first or just fucking go?
How old is the gas in here, you think?
Probably a while.
Just go up and down the road and make sure the fucking gas ain't too old. Alright, well, job well done. Let's head back to the fucking shop. Take a look at this thing a little more thoroughly. It's a fucking 38-point turn. It's laughing. It's laughing. Just push.
How much room you got to the door?
You got enough.
Good here?
Yeah, you're fine. Can you get out now?
Yeah.
What do you think, Ty?
I think it's a Subaru.
I mean, it's not a BMW.
I think we're stepping in the right direction.
I mean, it runs.
Pull yourself in, dude. Shit. I should probably open the hood and crack it.
Probably.
Where would you release that from the hood?
It's like really fucking small. It's where they normally are, but it's up against the dash thing. We need to get some fucking lights in here.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
That should be more than enough room for us to pull this fucking motor, dude. And if we need more, then we'll just move that shit.
I know some of you retards and degenerates have been waiting for a goddamn video to come out. And I understand, it's a long fucking wait. Well, they're good fucking content, so you gotta wait for the things you love. That's what some people say. However, in this video, we're gonna go over how to turbo a 7.3 IDI. And I'm literally gonna show you every single nut and bolt that you gotta buy, every single part, and how to make fucking power. So let's go. Alright, so let's cut through all the BS and I'll tell you exactly what parts you're gonna need if you're doing it from the ground up, if it's used. If it's new, disregard all this. It's basically just a parts list of things that you will need if you're going to turbocharge the motor and you want to freshen the turbo up a little bit. So let's start with the basics. Center section. If your center section is bad, which there are a series of bushings, they're like the bronze bushings, basically just an oil film keeps the distance off the bushing. If there's any play from the compressor wheel, so you just basically grab it, see if there's any up and down or side by side. If there's any play in it, there's a series of different people to go to have the center section rebuilt. I'll list them right here. Very reputable, they do good work. So if your center section's good, let's move forward. I needed 4 series of bolts. So I needed bolts for the flange, bolts for the compressor housing, bolts for the exhaust housing, and bolts to bolt the center section, or there's a name for it, I can't think of it, but basically bolts to hold this into the exhaust housing. So first and foremost, these bolts, those bolts are 5/16 by 18 1/2 inch. The depth on that, you can't buy any odd sizes, so you're gonna have to space a few of them out, but they're all 1/2 inch heads. These, to hold the rear housing on, are also 1/2 inch heads. They are 8 mil by 125. Now, the T3 housing to bolt it to the actual exhaust manifold section that you're gonna get with your kit is gonna be 3/8, 16, 1.5 inch. And they also have Allen heads, so it makes it easier when you're tightening these suckers down. Now, that's all 3 of them because one of them just is stubborn and I just don't feel like pulling it out. Anyway, you're going to need bolts to bolt this sucker to that housing. The bolts are 3/8, 16. Easy enough, right? You're going to need this ring, which is a 2-piece slip fit right on to the exhaust housing. That can be gotten from Rust Repair and a series of other places for the ATS or the Garrett factory 093 kit. 088 might be the same, but don't quote me on any of that crap. So for up top, now we need to feed the turbo with oil. You can use any old fucking ATS 093 kit to supply it. However, I'm running a direct. Your kit will probably come with one of these adapters. One of these adapters has an oil in and an oil pressure sensor, which is a good insurance policy because what will happen is if you lose oil pressure or something drastic happens on the turbo side, you will know about it almost immediately. So, good to have. This is pretty cheap. I'll put the parts list and prices pretty much after the video. Wastegate was in solid shape, so I didn't need to do any work. The wastegate flapper was okay, but however, the seat on the wastegate was so pitted and damaged, I had to do this. I know, not fun, right? But we got it done. You could always superheat the cast iron. You want to get it nice and hot, and you can weld that flapper shut, but you have to run some sort of wastegate in the system loop so you don't overboost. But I don't really think under the amount of exhaust gases that this is going to get, it will overboost a whole lot. But that's a long story made short. I ended up welding a 3-inch downpipe into my 093 kit. If you have an 088 kit, it has 2 of these suckers, and you're going to have to figure that out as you go. Now, the top hat, which is also tapped for, there you go, a boost gauge, so you can see what's going on. That has 2 series of seals. That has an internal seal that will sit on the 5-inch 100 thou intake plenum, let's call it. And it has 1 O-ring that fits inside of there. The T3 housing from the exhaust side all the way down. This takes a standard T3 gasket, which is just a dual compression gasket. You can buy these just about anywhere. So, this is the turbo pedestal mount. This also acts as the drain for the oil out of the turbo. This, most people will get this. There really isn't. It's very rigid, very rugged. It's not going to form cracks or anything like that. However, there is a series of O-rings that you should get for it. There's this one which used to go where the CDR in your truck is located, so you will buy a gasket for that. There is a gasket here and a gasket here. You will need to replace those. They're very easy to source. They're probably Viton gaskets if I had to take a shot in the dark, but easy enough. So you have your turbo bolted back together. There's no play in the center section. Oil lines are in, bolts are on, downpipes on. You're ready to go. So this section is complete. You're also going to need downpipe, which has T3 housing, connects to the passenger side bank, and then you're going to need a cross pipe. I ended up getting mine off Rust Repair because they are genuinely the only people I've seen that run the cross pipe or have it for sale at least, which is an awesome deal. I think it was like $175. It's worth every penny because if you're going to turbo this thing, you're in it for a little bit of money as is. So pick that up. That's on rustrepair.com. Or just search Rust Repair and whatever the site name is, and you can just jump from there. All right, so we have our turbo parts for the most part. I have this intake tube. You might have the Ford factory or ATS, the big intake, collector. Things vary, so just stick with me here. All right, so when we got everything apart, I'm going to do valves, or the in-canal exhaust valves, and I'm also going to do valve springs. Here are the part numbers for the top end. I'm a little weary about getting the top end refinished, and here's why. The heads themselves, I believe, are cast. They might be cast, they might be a mild steel. It really doesn't matter. There are slugs that go in for the IDI section. If you look on these, you'll see these center cuts. So when you flip your head over, you're going to see the actual shiny little slug. Those are made out of Inconel. Now, I'll tell you as a machinist, it's a pain in the ass cutting dissimilar metals on a single surface. So what will happen is you'll cut the cast, then it will hit Inconel and it will dull that sucker out. And then when you finalize your pass, what's happening is you've worn the tool bit out. So we'll cover that when we get to it, because I'm gonna get a whole nother block just to build. That way, when the truck comes in here, I can just pop that motor in. It's good to go. Anyway, the heads, parts I already linked. You're good to go. Make sure you don't forget valve cover gaskets. Those are very important. And valve stem seals. You want to check too, because I've seen this a couple of times. You want to check the valve guides, because I've seen some of these go a little bad. So basically just pull the valve out 1/2 inch and see how much plays in there. I don't really know the process in repressing the valve guides, but we'll figure it out as we go. You're going to need head studs and you're going to need head gaskets. Now, I'm not spending $510 on the ARP kit, because the ARP kit is for some reason not fucking available. Doesn't really bother me. I don't want to build something that's going to go to the sky with power. I'm just going to buy a standard head bolt kit. There's two different sizes. I think the 6.9 has a slightly different size, but your size is 1/2 inch. Or it could be the other way around. I don't fucking know. Anyway, you need to buy 2 kits, head studs. Male has them. I bought them for the mud truck, which are excellent fucking head studs. ARP also makes great ones, but like we said, we can't get it. Here's the part number, GS33348. You need 2 kits of these. 1 kit equals 1 side. Head gaskets, very important as well. You don't want to just go cherry picking these off because there are differences. The 7.3 IDI has a different head gasket than the turbo, the 9394. 9394, for quick reference, has this little notch cut out of this sucker and has a bigger fire ring. So it's a much better head gasket to run. Head gasket part number is 9047 PT. Great fucking head gaskets. They're pretty cheap too, believe it or not. So that's so far. We're not done yet, so let's move ahead. Alright, let's get started. It's fucking cold out here. Winter came early. It's December 1st today, actually. So let's wrap this up. It's getting nice and cold and diesel's gelling. Anyway, turbo kit's going to eliminate all this. All your air intake filter and shit. It's going to pop in here, the 088 kit. Banks goes right about here. You might have to modify the firewall a little bit, but that's a case-by-case basis. The CDR for most of these are relocated on, either tabs, or you can rig up something on the valve cover. Really depends on how you want to run it. Me, I just run road draft tube right out of the inspection cover. It's the easiest way to do her. The glow plug relay unit, which is housed back there, it's hard to see. That's gonna have to get moved. Most newer kits have a bracket that it sits on, but if you're good enough, you can fabric cobble something up. A couple other things worth mentioning is your routing for your return lines. 7.3 IDI kit, normally naturally aspirated, crosses over in the rear behind the intake. It's not what you're going to do because there's going to be a hot turbo there, so it basically moves one set up. So it's going to be one way in the back, one way in this back, and then it's going to cross over between the 3rd cylinder in. So that's something worth looking into. I might post a link to different kits, but I'm sure you guys are resourceful enough to know that you're going to have to buy a different set of kit rather than the 7.3 IDI naturally aspirated. So besides that, we're not going to waste any more time. Next video, the new motor is going to get torn down. I'm going to show you a couple tips and hints. We're going to pull this one out, and we're going to insert a new, fresher motor with a turbo. So hang around because that shit's going to be pretty interesting.